Hello everybody. Welcome back to Backstage Bimbo TV. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Allison Rouse. I am your most notorious groupie and author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie, me. Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you to everybody who's subscribing. Appreciate you all so much. Like I said, to those of you who don't know me, I'm a notorious groupie, most known for John Entwistle The Who, but kind of blew that one out of the water by the rest of my story. And today what we're going to talk about is what life is really like on the road for a groupie. Because it's not what you see in these films like Almost Famous and Rockstar. You know, you guys have to realize this is made for Hollywood, not for real life. I'm not made for Hollywood. I'm real life. So I'm going to tell you exactly what it's really like. Because I think there's a lot of women who, you know, from the past groupie scenes in the 70s and stuff, they went on the road a little bit, but never spent a lot of time out on the road, like a month, 2 months, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know, they went to England with Mick Jagger, but really were ditched for the Friends, and flew their own way over. But that's really not my experience and how things actually go on the road as far as I know. Like I said, these movies, Almost Famous, they're made for Hollywood. They kind of gloss over things, and they make it look like rainbows and kittens, and, oh, we're so bored in Fargo. Honey, everybody's bored in fucking Fargo. There's that one strip club in the hotel bar, and even the hotel bar, ugh. So anyway, today we're going to talk about what life is like on the road for a groupie. And our cocktail for the day is the Pink Panties. Recipe's down in the description, along with where you can buy my book and all my merchandise, because I have some really cool merchandise for sale, t-shirts and cups and all that stuff. My Patreon's down on the link too. If you want to hear the salacious details, the size of the cocks, you got to join me on Patreon. I'm not going to tell you here. So, all right. Life on the road for a groupie. You see Almost Famous, you think it's all acoustic guitars and champagne and dancing around. That's so not it at all. Yeah, there's times where that does happen, like when Kristen and I were hanging out with Def Leppard and Tesla, the first vlog on Def Leppard. What I forget to tell you about that night was, yeah, we all went upstairs afterwards, and Tesla, those guys, we were all in the hotel room, Frank and Tommy and Jeff, Keith and everybody, with Rick Savage and everybody were smoking a joint, and Frank had him whipped out his acoustic guitar and started to write a song about me and Kristen. That's the one time in 30 some odd years of rock and roll that I have actually seen them whip out the guitar and just start playing. Because, you know, you don't have a lot of time on your days off to be doing that unless you're actually writing. Like, yeah, I would see James Hetfield writing songs on the road, but yeah, you're not dancing around the hotel room drinking champagne and twirling. And you're definitely not putting scarves over those lights, because they can catch on fire in the hotel room, ladies. So again, it's all falsified for the movies. All right? So let's kick back, relax. Let's go on the road, shall we? Cheers, big ears. Okay. So, you meet a guy in a band at the hotel bar. He's got the day off. You guys have a great time. You're at the hotel bar. You're drinking. It's the nighttime. You go upstairs. You do your thing. You wake up. You go to the show the next day. Well, every so often, there's insane chemistry. Just like you would find on Tinder, wherever, you know, dating. Not every date's going to be spectacular. It might be a good date, but you might see him again. You might not. Who knows? We'll see how life plays out. That's life on the road. But then every so often you have that one date that just, there's sparks flying, The chemistry is awesome. You guys are spot on with each other. You're just clicking off each other and having a great time. The sex is amazing, and you want to keep seeing each other. Wow. This is where it gets more complicated because the guy wants to fly you out. And ladies, there's certain rock stars that, Mick Jagger, that would always tell, you know, like Les Pars or his ex-wife to buy their own plane tickets. Not in the 80s. No way, honey. First thing, if a rock star ever asks you to meet him on the road, say, make it happen. He knows exactly what that means. Book the ticket yourself. Because that's dating. Life on the road. He will buy your plane ticket. You are in his hotel room. You are never 20 feet away from him. Like the second or third date, because let's say the night before is your first date. You go to the show with him in your town. That's your second date. You go on the road with him. You got to pack a bag. You got to pack your toothbrush, your hair products, everything, your makeup, your granny panties, whatever you're packing. Because by your third date, second or third date, you're living with this guy. You are never 20 feet away from each other. You are shit showering, shaving, blow drying, sneezing, farting in front of this person, because we've all been in hotel rooms, even suites. You can hear it all. So there is no privacy. And that's just in the hotel room. You know, I remember my friend Nicole, she was going out on the road with, was it from Avenged Sevenfold? Someone. Anyway, she had texted me and she's like, oh, I'm just so nervous because, you know, I have to get ready in front of him, because we all have, even the rock stars, we all have our daily getting ready rituals. But part of the fun of that for the rock star is watching you do that. When the guy likes you, he wants to see every aspect of you. And she was so nervous about that. And this is what I told her. You know, he's going to be excited that you guys are getting ready and all this stuff, and you're letting him into your world like that. So, like I said, you're basically living with this guy, so you've got to make sure you're comfortable. Your safety, the roof over your head, food, the way you get home from another country, another state, another city. You're dependent on this guy, so you better trust him. Big time. And he's reliant on you for his intimacy, his privacy, to take care of him the best that you can, because one of the things that groupies hears, the one thing they hear the most, go take care of your man. Because when you go out on the road with him, you're giving whatever tour manager, roadie, whoever, a break from taking care of that guy, because you're there to take care of him. So it's just like any other relationship. You know, one person has one end and the other person has it. It's a yin and yang. I can't say it. It's a balance. You know. So, and you're going everywhere with him. You are seen with him everywhere. You have to wait for this guy. You have to be on the plane with him, which is better than being on the bus. Because the bus, you can be 12 hours and you're the only girl on the bus with the guys. I tell ya. So that's the kind of the first aspect. You've got to make sure that you really trust this person, that you're going to get home safe and you're not going to be left in a parking lot for a 14-year-old. Yeah. And like I said, ladies, dating on the road, if he wants to see you, he pays for that plane ticket. The tour is paying for the hotel room. And I'm old-fashioned, so I still, you know, prefer a man to be the old-fashioned chivalry. Because not only I was raised with a very high bar of chivalry by my father, my grandfathers, my uncles, my brother. I had amazing male influences in my life growing up. And in rock and roll, that chivalry bar is so high. It's exactly where the men in my family, sorry, I have something on my nose, so I've got like a hair. But, so that bar is set so high. Every rock guy that I know, whether it's the musicians, the roadies, the tour managers, every single one of those guys I have ever known is extremely respectful, protective, and good to their groupies. They don't leave anybody in a parking lot at 2 a.m. And They don't let you walk curbside. They don't let you pay for anything. They don't let you open doors. And I prefer things like that because that's what I'm used to. And that to me is chivalry. And like I said, never once have any of those boys on the road failed me. Even when John passed away, I was protected. And they wanted to make sure I was protected. But they knew that if I wasn't talking when John first died, then I wasn't planning on ever talking. So, and they still protected me when things came out. And that's life on the road because you have to be. Like I said, your safety, your well-being, your health, even your body. You're putting everything into this guy's hand. You are vulnerable in every way, shape, or form. And you've only known this guy 3 days. You meet a guy in a bar and you do this for 3 days, people are going to call you crazy. Meet a rock star and you're living with him in 3 days. They're like, well done you. But it's scary. It's scary because like I said, especially when you were as young as I was when I started out, and I'm going to do a vlog on my age. I've got to address this sooner or later. But so, you know, I would lie to my mom and tell her I was camping with Kristen when, sorry guys, I got a hair from my makeup brush, my powder brush stuck. Oh, it was annoying. Sorry, I didn't mean to pick my nose in front of you guys. But so anyway, when I was younger in the 80s, I would tell my mom that I was camping with Kristen. I was not camping with Kristen. I was in Europe with Metallica, or Canada, or Seattle, Denver a lot, and with different bands. So you've got to make sure that you don't need to call your mom from Oklahoma going, got left in a parking lot, can you fly me home? No, you've got to trust this guy to make sure that you are being safe and protected. And never once have these boys failed me. And I've been very lucky like that because I have seen some situations where they didn't want to be so friendly to some girls. So, like I say in the Who vlog, the first one that I posted on June 27th in memory of John, they were just going to leave Sweet Connie behind. And I was like, no, you drop her off at a parking lot in the airport with a one-way ticket home. No. So don't criticize me because they wanted Sweet Connie gone. I just made sure she got home safe. Okay? And that's, you know, life on the road. And if you're on the tour bus, oh, God, ladies, you're surrounded by a bunch of guys. And you cannot, and this is that show Roadies. They stole this from my vlog from my old website that I don't really post on anymore. Hold on. But I did this vlog. It was probably about 10 years ago that I did this vlog. So it was way before Roadies started. So when you're on a tour bus, there's rules. You cannot do anything but number one in the tour bus toilet. You do not put your toilet paper in there. You do not put your poo-poo in there. You don't put anything in there but a golden shower. Because lordy, let me tell you. Don't ever, if you guys are just goofing off and you have a free summer and you want to follow the band, don't follow the tour buses. Because if you got to do the number two, and there's nowhere in sight and you don't want to go on the side of the road, no rest stop, no gas station, no truck stop, no nothing. Oh, it's so bad. I can't even say it because I've done it. You have to put a plastic grocery bag down. It's just like you're cleaning up after your dog. And most of them toss it out the window. So if you're behind that tour bus, oh, switch lanes, people. Switch lanes. Switch it. Not even kidding. So, yeah. That's an aspect of being on the tour bus. Not to mention, back in the 80s, we didn't have internet, we didn't have cable, we didn't have anything that could keep TV shows going, and you wouldn't always get reception. So, you know, guys get bored. The road crew, the band, everybody. They own these things called bunk socks. They're just tube socks that are jerked off into. So if you're on the road, on the tour bus, ladies, if the band has a tour bus and not a plane, you're going to have to dodge some bunk socks like you're stepping through North Korea after that war. Because trust me, I did that once. I had to go to the bathroom really bad. We just woke up. We had just stopped at a truck stop. I was like, yay, a bathroom. Had to go. Didn't even look. We were on the middle bunk because you don't want to be on the top or the bottom. The bottom's too bumpy. The top is too wavy. The middle's just right. It's like the porridge in Goldilocks. So, went to go put a sock on. Wasn't my sock. Fell out of the bunk above us. But boy, were my toes fucking squishy after that. Lordy. So you're dodging bunk socks. Those still happen. And like I said, back then, we didn't have TV or cell phones or computers or anything or live streams. So if we didn't have reception for the TV to keep going, there was a game that was going around for a while, and they played it like Dangerous Toys. Scott Dalhover did this, and we'll vlog you soon, Scott. It's called Pigs, and someone found it somewhere at a truck stop. I think the one in Wyoming, and it's just these two little pigs, and you roll them like dice. And if they landed in a sexual position, you would have to do your shot, or chug your beer, or whatever, or take a dare if you didn't want to do that. So that's the kind of stupid stuff we did. Not to mention squirt guns. Okay, Dark Angel guys, yeah, Sean Mulvey and Ron and everybody. When Super Soakers first came out and they looked like guns, they got pulled over for those after we kicked their asses in a major squirt gun fight in Salt Lake City. That's right, guys, we kicked your asses. So you do have fun like that on the road. You know, you do, because you get bored, so you have to, like, make stuff up to do. It's not the same today because, you know, with computers and live streaming and everything, people are stuck down vlogging or watching TV or sending emails home or getting emails or doing whatever. Oh, my light just went bright again. So, yeah, that's life on the tour bus. And if you're on the plane, it's, you know, you might have 2 hours, 6 hours, depending on where you're going. So you don't have that long. Do the normal stuff that you do on a plane. You would have an in-house movie sometimes, but not most of the time. On the plane, you sleep a lot. On the bus, you do, but there's just so many people around you that you can't. And if you want to have sex on the tour bus and you're going down the freeway, brace yourselves. I mean, like, literally, just brace yourselves. Because if that bus driver comes to a halt, he just got a dick in the back of your throat, and he was behind you. Not even kidding. I've been launched on a bus before. Landed on another guy, which was actually a good thing. Just kidding. Anyway, so yeah, that's life on the road, on the tour bus. Oh, sorry guys, I had to unplug something and knocked my cameras. But so anyway, and that's on the actual road. Now, when you get into town, if you have a day off, check into the hotel is usually about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You can sometimes get an early check-in, like, say, Metallica flying in from Denver. They'll fly in right after the show. Back in the day, not now. But, and sometimes they will now, not James. Depending. It all depends, because they all have their own planes now. Life was not this complicated on the road when I started. Like, the band, all the guys in Metallica had one plane. It was a 9-seater. I hated that motherfucking plane. I hated it. It was so tiny. And when you hit turbulence, it's like, we're gonna die. And I'm not wearing panties because they're on some tour bus going to Oklahoma. Just kidding. Anyway, because, yeah, pink panties. Anyway, so, yeah, you get in and you can check in early or check in at 1 o'clock. And if you have a day off, that's if you have a day off. You check into the hotel at 1 o'clock, you kind of relax for a minute, get ready. Depending on the city, say you're off in Chicago. Oh, great city to be off in, because you can go see Frank Lloyd Wright buildings, but you only have a few hours, because then you want to go out to dinner, and you have your friends that you go out to dinner with, you know, your road clique, because you form cliques on the road, little packs of friendships where everybody's hanging out in different friendships. You might be going to the same place, but you all converge at the hotel bar. So say I'm with Vinny. Let's say Vinny Paul. So we go out on the road. We go see a few things in Chicago. He goes somewhere where he wants to go. We do some shopping. Whatever. Not really a whole lot of shopping. I'm more of a sightseer. I can shop on my own. I do, and it's a marathon, ladies. God, it's how I get half my cardio. So, yeah, you go see stuff, but then you want to be back at the hotel. You made dinner plans with a couple other people. So you meet at the hotel bar before dinner. Have a couple drinks. Everybody goes out to dinner. Has a good time. Where do you go? Back to the hotel bar. 90% of the time. And I've been criticized, by people who really don't get rock and roll, or who are just trying to find something to browbeat me with, because, they like Les Pars and I don't. Well, she calls me a liar. She slanders me and defames me, which, by the way, Pam, get your lawyers, bitch. Not kidding. Anyway, so you go out to dinner, you meet your friends back at the hotel bar, and if you just want to have a quiet night, you go upstairs, grab a bottle of wine, watch a movie, maybe talk, listen to some music, whatever. That stuff does happen, but you're not sitting around strumming guitars and twirling with champagne glasses in hotel rooms. I mean, that happened with John Sykes, but the guys in Tesla wrote a song about me and Kristen. The vlog about when I was goofing off with Rick Savage and then went and played with Tommy and Frank from Tesla. Yeah, that night. Those are the only 2 nights in my life I've seen everybody sitting around by the pool, strumming, singing songs. Maybe in the 70s, but not the 80s, because we had stuff to do. We wanted to see the sights. We didn't want to sit around in a hotel room. Even in Fargo, there's the hotel bar, this one little catfish restaurant, and a strip club. So there's still stuff to do. And a Walmart. You can find crazy stuff at the Walmart in Fargo. Not even going to tell you what I found there. It's probably why I'm banned from Fargo now. But so yeah, to this day, since 1985 to 2021, this is what rock and roll is like. And then you get to the day of the show. And this is if you have a day off before. So lobby call starts. Like when everybody has to meet in the lobby to go over to the gig. Get on the bus, get in the hotel van, get in the runner vans, whatever your transportation is, there's a time. Rock and roll is the most structured world I have ever seen. And I've worked normal jobs, I've worked not normal jobs. 7 a.m., you've got the riggers who are going to set up the stage and all the trusses for the lighting, and then the lighting guys and the riggers are going to get the lighting gear up there. Then the cables and everything else for the sound, the speakers, and then you have all the equipment, the drums, the guitars, the microphones, all that. So all that's going on. You have a 7 a.m., 9 a.m., so on, I believe around, I think 9 to 10 is the latest lobby call for, and this is just a big one. A normal tour, I should say, because then you have tours like U2. They have 3 rigger road crews. 3 road crews of riggers, lighting, stuff, because they have 3 stages. Those big claw stages they used, one of them sitting out here in down south Salt Lake City. I know who built those stages. They were here 3 days. Took them 3 or 4 days to build that stage. The band played. Took them 3 days to tear that stage down. So them and Metallica will have 2 road crews doing that, and U2 will have 3. So they're constantly leapfrogging each other. So on just a normal 1 road crew, 1 stage tour, your lobby call starts at 7 a.m. Rock and roll ends at 2 a.m. because after the show, it all comes down in reverse. All the equipment comes off the stage, cables, the lighting, the trusses, then the stage goes, everything gets packed up. You leave town about 2 o'clock in the morning if you're leaving town that night. If the band's on, the road crew will leave town. If the band's on a plane, then normally they stay the night and fly out, They get up around 6 o'clock in the morning, say, hey baby, I got you a late checkout for 1 a.m. You just stay here and sleep. You stay there and sleep for a couple more hours, and you go home. Unless you're getting on the plane with them. So that's rock and roll from 1985 to 2021. And that's life on the road. Because like I said, you don't know what city you're in because you're on the same schedule constantly. regularly. Things have to go to a certain time because they have to open up at a time. They only have 24 hours to get shit done. You might have 48. You don't see a lot on the road. Even like New York City, I hated going to New York City with bands because there's a lot more business to do in New York City and LA, and you're left sitting around waiting for them either at the studio or at the hotel or at the gig or wherever, the radio station, whatever, because there's interviews and you hear the same shit interview after interview after interview. Like, days really blend in. You have to really check to see where you are sometimes. That's why you see, where are we today? Cleveland? Hello, Cleveland. That's a general thing, you know. So that's kind of, you know, your day-to-day on the road. And it's like that 24/7. Now, if you had a gig the night before, you're screaming. You're not going to have 16 hours and then have to do a gig the next day. You're going to have a day off. And a lot of the bands use the same booking agencies. And by booking agencies, I mean the people who book the hotels, maybe the gigs, stuff like that. So, and the same road crew companies, the same like Soundco, Showco, whatever, the one owned by U2. They're huge. Their road crews enough make those guys rich. Because U2 owns a production company that's based out of Amsterdam, Holland, because it's cheaper on their taxes. See, I told you. I'm a groupie. I know what I'm doing. I could sit in that production office and tell you how to run a tour because I've been around the rock and roll so much and I've sat in production offices. So, yeah, so they usually have booking agencies that book the hotels and stuff. So they'll stay at the same hotels over and over and over in each city because they get deals. So I can tell you a lot of the hotels in all the cities, like Salt Lake City right now, it used to be the Marriott in the 80s. Then we got kicked out and the bands weren't staying in there anymore and they built a hotel called the Monaco. Past 20 years, at least. Probably 25. I mean, because I was living in Vegas when they built it and Danny was here still, and that's where the bands were staying. I've been back, I left Vegas and after John died in 2002, I went back till 2003 really, so about 19 years, 18, 19 years. So, good 20 years that hotel has been the band hotel. Like I said, repetitive, right? Rinse, wash, rinse, repeat. That's rock and roll, folks. So that's another aspect when you pull into town. And like I said, when you're with that rocker, that's what makes every road experience different. The feelings, the things you talk about, the experiences you have with these guys, things you do, that's really what makes the difference. Not the fact that I've been to Paris quite a few times and we've only been in France like 24 to 48 hours. I've never seen the Eiffel Tower up close. I've seen it as we're flying away or taking a taxi to, you know, the George Cinq or whatever, you know. I've been in the Louvre because I was an art history major. That's my passion, so I will take the Louvre over Eiffel Tower any day. But you don't see a lot. You don't see a lot besides hotel rooms, hotel bars, concrete backstage hallways, concerts, your man, the road crew, restaurants. That's life on the road in a nutshell, pretty much. So the sex better be goddamn worth it. And you better be safe with your guy, because like I said, you and your man are basically living together after 3 days of knowing each other. And you better be comfortable within yourself and with this man, because you're going to have to get ready in front of him. He's going to see you with your worst of bed hair and not that fun morning after bed hair, you know? I mean, it'll still be fun morning after bed hair. But you're letting someone into your intimacy and they are letting you into your intimacy, so respect that and be cool with that. And, you know, realize that you're not going out on the road and it's going to be a party, 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 party. Oh, God. Even in the 80s, we had to take a break. You know, I remember 3 bands coming into town in 2 weeks period in 1988, and I was just like, no. I can't even bother. I've got to take a break from this because it's just too much. You know, because you don't, like I said, you don't see anything. You're in town 24 to 48 hours. You see nothing but hotel, restaurants, gigs. Exciting, right? Never seen any big orgies like you would see on Rockstar. Never saw a bunch of girls trying to deflower people, because as groupies, I want someone who's good in bed. Not that I have to teach how to be good in bed. Fuck that. Go have someone else deflower you, because I'm not doing it. Nope. I want someone good. I know, horrible folks. But, so yeah, what else am I thinking? What else am I forgetting about life on the road? We've got the golden rule, you can't poop. You got to take care of your man. Oh yeah, and there are there are rules to this no strings attached. Many I broke in the 80s. But as you get older, you have respect for them because you have more respect for your age. And as an adult, we all grow up. Because like I said, I was really young when I started hanging out backstage, so it was a little bit wilder, more free-spirited. So when you're on the road with your man, and there's a story in my book about Dave Ellefson Jr., and I'll vlog that one too, but you don't take off with any other man. Like I said, I've broken this rule, but I was young and snarky, and sometimes there's consequences to it, sometimes not. So yeah, you do not go trolloping out on your man. He does not do that either, because rules go both ways here. You go take care of your man, because like I said, that is probably the number one thing a groupie who spends a good amount of time on the road hears. Because usually it's the tour manager. Rock stars can be a handful. We all know this. Not really, but there's times, especially in the 80s when sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and sex, drugs, and booze was really prevalent. So, and I've told this story in a previous vlog where I was showing downtown, you know, sitting in the hotel bar, drunk ass James Hetfield supposedly goes to the bathroom. We couldn't find him for 30 minutes. I find him out in the gutter. You know, when he got up from the table, he was so drunk, and Paul, one of their longtime roadies, turned to me and goes, "Go take care of your man. He needs it." So that's expected of you. Just like he's taking care of you. Like I said, it's a balance. It's a give and take. Just like any relationship would be. It's not like I'm some enslaved groupie or groomed little girl. Not at all. Everything was my choice. I had the fake ID. I was the predator. So, you know, that's part of what you do. You take a little bit of weight off the other people, the roadies, or whoever has to take care of your man. You hold his hair back while he's throwing up. You hold him at night while he's crying his eyes out because he doesn't want to go home. He doesn't know home. They only knew the road back then. Because like I said, tours could last 1 to 2 years back then, sometimes longer. And it's just, you create such a bond with this person because you do have to have a trust so fast. You do have to let someone into parts of your life that normally would take weeks or months to let someone into in a normal dating situation. But rock and roll is not a normal dating situation, is it? It's so much more fun. Because yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to be like, "Hey baby, third date, you want to come to fucking New York? Alright, we can call you back in 20 minutes. And we all know that because I do have my itinerary from a few times, Def Leppard and stuff, going to New York. I've posted it several places. But I'll do that vlog about New York and ditching Def Leppard. So yeah, there we go, guys. That's life on the road. And you got to go home sometimes, and that's the hardest part. One of the hardest parts. You know, saying goodbye to the rocker, you know you're going to say goodbye to him at some point, unless you guys really do. It's very rare, especially when you're sleeping with the amount of rock stars that I have. 78 over the years, and a lot of them time and time again. Like I said, Vinnie Paul, 8 years. James Hetfield, 5. Steve Jones, 5. Certain bass player from a band earlier that I talked about, 13 years. Another lead singer, 20. So, you know, you're seeing these guys time and time again. And you care about them as men, and you have a love for them and a camaraderie with them, but it's very rare that you like truly heart and soul fall in love. And when you do, oh god, it's horrible, because you know you're gonna have to leave him, you know you're gonna have to share him with thousands of people, and you know he might be messing around, and what can you do? You make your choices to stay or to be your own person as well. I was always my own person. I did fall in love. And there was love fallen for me. But like I said, you make your choices. And like I always say, those rock stars, they are the most chivalrous men. They are the best friends. They are great lovers. But they are not good husbands. And I don't mean that mean to any of my road family, because I love you guys. I wouldn't have survived half the shit I've been through in my life without you guys. Because that's what happens after all these years of rock and roll and seeing the same faces and dating the same men over and over again and being on the road. You create a bond. You create a family. And that's the best thing about being on the road, that family, because you can trust them. And they're going to be there for you. You may not talk to them for a year or two, but somewhere out of the blue, they always show back up. And they remember you, and they're so happy to see you. And so happy to have that woman who they can trust, who sees beyond the rock star, who sees beyond the facade of rock and roll, and lets them be the man they are off stage. Vulnerable, strong, sad, happy, adventurous, crazy or drunk. That's what it's all about. Yep, that's life on the road, folks. What can I say? We're not sitting around a pool, strumming guitars, you know, dancing with flowers barefoot around an arena. It's not rainbows and cotton candy out my ass, folks. There's nothing coming out your ass on that tour bus. Do you understand me? And if it is, it better be in a grocery bag. So like I said, I'm here to tell you the truth, what it's really like to be on the road, because some groupies, maybe they flew a couple places for a few days, but I don't think they spent, you know, I have 30 years of life on and off the road. To this day, like I said, like clockwork, go watch it in all of your towns, ladies, gentlemen. Find the one hotel in your town where you see the buses time and time again. Go there. Start hanging out. You're going to find out everything I just said. You're going to live it. You're not just going to be hearing me talking about it. That's just the way it goes. Like I said, for 30 years, this has been rock and roll. It's still the same. You still have a very structured world. And I think having this structured world all these years kind of made me naive to the real world, to how people function in it, because I don't get this normal world and how people function and what insecurity, idiocies that some people have. Not everybody, but... And dating, I cannot date normal. I don't know how. So that's the domino effect of life on the road. And then, like I was going to say earlier, when you come home, it's always such a crash. Because you've been out on the road, you're moving so fast. You've got your wake-up calls, you've got your interviews, you've got your stage set up, you've got your sound check, you've got this and this and that, and everything is scheduled, and you have something to do all day long, every day, except sit your ass on the tour bus or on the plane. That's the only time you don't have anything to do. So when you go home and you don't have any of that, it's crazy. And, you know, if you've ever seen the actual Broadway play of Jersey Boys, they have a whole part in this about life on the road and how you have a whole different world, a whole different family. So you're basically divorcing yourself from the family to go home to a family that you had to divorce yourself from, you know, to go out on the road. Not actually divorced, but, you know, you had to mentally prepare yourself to leave this family behind to go to one family, and then you've got to mentally go through it again when you go home, because you're leaving another family. And you are leaving women that you trust, because like I've said it before, and real groupies and stuff are very few and far between. So when they find one on the road, oh, yeah, they're going to keep her around, see her time and time again, because rockers and roadies, they need to feel just as safe as we do. That's what we do. It's not always sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Especially now. It's not the party it once was. But party's still at the hotel bar, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Life on the road for a groupie. You get lonely for female attention, so when you see other women on the road, you're like, yes, yay, I'm not the only. And sometimes you can gang up on those guys, trust me. Me and a couple girls have ganged up on the boys. You need to pick your bunk socks up and stop leaving those trash bags in the can. Throw them out the window like everybody else. Damn it. Okay, want a cocktail? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I get on a tour bus, and you can ask a lot of my friends who know me on rock and roll. They'll pull up and we'll get on the tour bus, say it's the night before, like when my friend Oris is in town. He works for Nickelback a lot. But they have a chef that comes on the road that, you know, on their days off makes these really killer barbecues. So we sit on the bus and I go on and I start mixing the drinks and being the hostess with the mostest. I'm most at home doing that. Backstage in catering or in the hotel room or at the bar, you know, that's where I'm most comfortable. And with these boys, I feel safe, I feel content, I feel respected, and I feel seen as a woman and as a human being. Because like I said, their chivalry higher than most people go through everyday living. I love my boys. This is why I love the Rock Boys, and this is why I've been in it so long. Because when you feel home, when you feel comfortable, when you feel loved and respected, and these are the people I've made my life of memories with. So that's why I still stay around the boys. Because I know I'm always going to be taken well cared for and respected. And like I said, that's life on the road. It's not Almost Famous, and it's definitely not fucking Rockstar. It's not all this crap. It's just boring. It's like taking a road trip day after day after day after day, which is a blast because you're with your friends and you're doing the most that you can to keep yourselves amused and happy. But like I said, it's very, very structured. So when you go home off the road, it's weird. It's just weird. All right. So there you guys go. Hope you liked my little Rocky Talkie today. Like I said, not everything is cracked up to be on the road. Not what you see in the movies at all. And probably never heard this from any other groupie because some groupies just don't know it well enough to really understand what goes on the road. Because they're sitting there in the dressing room with the band member. They can't be around the road crew. They're too good for that. Okay, Starfucker. I wander around. I'm sociable. I talk to people. I go in the production room. Like I said, I can run a tour. I don't want to, but I could. So, all right, folks, there you go. There's my Rocky Talkie for the day. There's our Pink Panties cocktail, which was actually really good. I never drink the whole cocktail, but today I did. All right, folks, if you like my stories, if you like my vlogs before, if you like this, please hit the subscribe button. Get me monetized as quick as I can, because otherwise I'm just going to stop. It's not worth it. No, it is worth it. Everybody that I've met through my book is really awesome, really cool, and I'm so blessed to know all of you. Like I said, Nicole, Julianne, Deborah, Renee, Susie Q, so many people, Christina, Kathy Reagan, Dee Dee, Mandy, all these people I've met from my book. So many more. You make every second of it worth it. Thank you guys. So everybody, hit that subscribe button if you want me to keep going and you want to hear my dirty Rocky Talkies. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bells. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next week on Backstage Bimbo TV with some more cocktails and rocktails.